Hi everyone. Hello, this is Shannon Pyle with Cinderella's Mice again. How is everyone tonight? Okay, in a previous video, I did a tutorial on the puffy, fancy tool bow, and we created this gorgeous bow that you can do anything and everything with it. I love this. It's a very simple technique. Simple, simple, simple. Okay. Um, I I do this on a lot of things because people love it. People go crazy for it. And it instantly elevates. You can put it with anything, and it elevates it tremendously. As you can tell, this is just a simple tumbler. So I actually like this concept. So I'm going to make up some of these, and let's see how they do. Let's see if I can move them. And I think they will because they're just so super fancy and it's so simple. So this was the tool bow tutorial that we did. One thing that I wanted to add, I feel like I got too wordy on this. This is just, you just on the back, you just cut it, twist it, and, push it in, and it hides that. If you wanted to get different colors of these, like I could do purple and it would hide that even better. But, um, we can work this back and around and, it covers, all that kind of stuff. And you could also use another festive color like red and purple go great just for this is particularly for Valentine's Day, but for usually any kind of a holiday, right? I think it would go nicely. So anyways, you could do so much with this and it's so simple. Next what we're going to discuss, pardon me. Next what we're going to be discussing tonight is we're going to be getting into the Bowdabra. What I like about the Bowdabra is it works the bow and your hands are just guiding the ribbon. My hands being handicapped and my condition, my muscles spasm badly and I can't hold the ribbon and do the twist and the bow and build the bow like I used to. So I got a Bowdabra because this actually makes the bow and you're just guiding the ribbon into the Bowdabra. Okay. So let's see. And if you're doing big bows, as we're guiding the ribbon, this actually stretches and stretches and stretches out. So like I said, it's holding the ribbon, holding the bow, and building the bow as we're just simply guiding it through the Bowdabra, right? Okay. This came with a tool. It's like a little wide stick kind of like thing that you're, as we're putting the ribbon in and stacking the loops, it helps to shove that down because it keeps the loops tight and also so that you can stack multiple loops on this. Okay. All right. So I don't want to overcomplicate things because that's not what I want to do. All right. So tonight we're going to be working with basically a two-sided ribbon. What that means is that it's the same on both sides, right? No matter which way I turn it, no matter which way I use it, it's going to be the same on both sides. If we're doing a single-sided, which I don't want to do tonight, where did it? I just had one out. Ooh, I hate that. Where did it go? Ooh. Give me 1 second, please, you guys. All right, let me see. I just had, okay. Okay, so this right here is a one-sided ribbon, or what they would probably call a single side. What that means is it has an underside. If you know sewing and you know material, there's a right side and a wrong side. Um, so this is the right side. See the front side, and now we have a back side, I guess is what you would call it. We're not going to get into how to do that tonight with this. Okay, we want to keep things simple. If you want to buy nothing but double-sided ribbon, that would be, that would be just a great way to do things, because you can do anything and everything with it, and if it's the same price, why not, right? You don't have to worry about anything. You're just going to be guiding the ribbon in, and that's all I want us to focus on. We're just going to keep things extremely simple. All right, so let's get in it. I use Chanel's when my hands are cramping bad. It's a really good practical tool to use. You can, loop, you can just twist and it holds things just right. These work extremely well. Another thing I use is zip ties. Zip ties keep things really nice and snug. I get the big ones. I don't screw around. When we get into small, tedious little things, no way. So I like the big ones. I don't care how much excess I have. It's just like one of those things. It's just, I need it to do what I need it to do, right? So I use zip ties also when securing things to the pigtail on the basket. And these work quite well. But when my hands are really cramped and, I got, a wad of a bow, guiding this thing through and then all that kind of crap, making sure it's on the right side to do that. I can't mess with that right now. So I use Chanel's. No two bows, believe it or not, how I feel are the same. The best thing that I have found that works is working with what the ribbon is doing and what the bow is doing and how it's starting to form its shape. One thing I do is I pray, and, as things come up and form and I'm building the bow, it's like, wow, I wouldn't have thought, I wouldn't have thought that would have, turned out that way, right? Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the Chanel, and on the bottom here, it says Bowdabra. I'm going to face that towards me. And any side will work. Both sides say Bowdabra on them. So we're just going to have this facing me. I'm going to place this Chanel right down in there like so. Some people wrap the bottoms under like this. So what we did was we took the Chanel, right? So we took the Chanel, put it in like that, and then you can tuck the ends under. I usually don't do this, but if you get like bulky ribbon, or, some of the fine chiffons like this, they can get caught up in this. So this is just a way to avoid that. Okay, so we're going to set that down like so. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn it this way. Okay, so we went from the Bowdabra facing towards us, right here with the writing. We're going to turn it this way, so the Bowdabra is, the words are, so the Bowdabra is facing east and west. That's the best way to put it. So we're going from facing us north and south to now facing east and west, right? East and west, okay? What I do with this, you can leave your ends as is, Or you can do a fishtail. And some people call it a dovetail. So we're just going to, take the ribbon and fold this part. Okay, we're just going to take the ribbon. We're going to fold it. We're going to fold it in half, right to left. Okay, so we're going to go in half, right to left. And then we're going to take it and we're going to cut it right at a 45-degree angle. This is called wired ribbon, by the way. It's very important. I know a lot of people don't mention it, and I wanted to make sure I mentioned that. This is wired ribbon. It means the edges are wired, and it creates kind of like a stiffness so that it can hold loops and give shape to the ribbon. Okay, so we're going to open this up now. Okay, we're going to open it up. And you can see that looks like a certificate cut or a certificate ribbon. Okay, so while it's still on the roll, okay, this is going to be one of our tells, but it's also going to be our first loop. So what we're going to do now is we're going to start guiding the ribbon through the Bowdabra, and we're going to let the Bowdabra do what it's supposed to do, and that's build the bow. Okay, so basically we're building the bow in the Bowdabra, but the Bowdabra is doing everything. It's holding the ribbon. It allows you to guide the ribbon through it. It does, it does wonders. So I'm going to go ahead and try and get this at a better angle. A little bit more. Okay, I think this is a better angle. All right. Okay, so let's get started. We got our chenille in. We tuck the ends under. It's facing east and west. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put this in. And you don't have to be delicate. Ribbon's very unforgiving. And I'm going to leave. This is going to tell me how long of a length that I want this tell. And I generally make it a little bit long because it's easier to cut it than it is to add to it. Once you cut your tells, which is what this is, we want to, give a good length on there. So some things look better with long tells, some things don't, but this gives us that option. Okay. So now what we're going to do is we're just going to, so I took it, here's the roll, doesn't matter which way you put it or set it down. Let's see, so we're just going to put it in right here like that, okay, and I'm just going to push that down a bit like so. All right, all we're going to do is we're going to take it. So I have to put this at an angle, you guys, sorry. So I'm going to take it, there's no folds, there's no anything in it. We just put it and we put it in there. And we push that down. That's it, like that, okay? All right. We're not going to be doing any twisting. We're not going to be doing any of that because we don't have to, because it's a two-sided, two-faced ribbon, okay? So we're going to, I'm just going to guide it back and forth now. And each time we guide it back and forth, just going to push down. It doesn't, I don't need to do a whole lot, so I'm going to push that down like so. Now I'm just going to come back like this. And we're just layering. That's it. Okay. Pushing that down. I generally do a 6-loop bow. I just feel I just feel like it's my thing. I think it makes a good bow. If I get too many loops in it, it gets to be to where it's too much, unless you're doing a wreath. So, okay, I'm just gonna be guiding it back and forth in here. And then I'm gonna bring it back over. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna show you, just be like this. Now see, as I'm stacking, it's starting to get thick and build up. I just take something and smash that down like that. And I'm going to, and if this twists up, it's not a big deal. We're just going to, just straighten that out. Like that. Okay. And let's count my loops here. I've got 1, 2. Okay, over here on this side. Trying to make sure both ends are even. If they're not, all you got to do is just, like so, just kind of tug it to make both sides even loops. And even I've made bows where they're not even, and they make a different kind of a look to it. The sky's the limit with this. It's very forgiving. Very, very forgiving. So, see, we got 1, 2. Now I'm going to bring it back over. Like that. And I'm running out of ribbon. So what we're going to do is we're just going to do, I wanted to do 6, but 3 works. 1, 2, 3. All right, I'm going to take this and just go ahead and push this down some more. Okay. I'm going to double check my loops. I got, see here, 1, 2, 3. 3 loops. All right. I'm going to take this because this is, the ending part of the roll. I wanted to do 6 loops, but I don't have enough ribbon to do that. So we'll do 3. 3 with tails. Okay. And then I'm going to also show you what you can do if you don't want tails on your ribbon. So if you're doing different colors and you're, changing different ribbons in your bow, I'm going to go over what I do to keep from all those tails, having 8 tails and 6 tails, and that gets, it looks to be like octopus looking, right? Okay. So, so we got this tail right here that we cut at the beginning. We did a fish tail, or some people call it a dovetail. All right. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to cut this off the roll because we're like, at our end. I don't have enough to do 6, and that's all right. Okay, we're going to go like this, and we're going to do our dovetail. We fold it in half, right to left. And we're going to do, just cut that angle. If this wire gauge is too thick, and I've worked with ribbon that gets to be pretty thick, I use my wire cutters, and snip it. So, okay, let me make sure I have some, I don't like choppy cuts. Just try and clean that cut up quite a bit. All right, doggone it. Okay, so there we go. It started to get choppy, and I just wanted to make sure I had a good clean edge on these. Okay, so here we go with that. Try and see if I can't trying to, here, let's see if we can't, okay, see that? It's a nice, good, clean cut edge. So dovetail or fishtail. And what we did was we took our ribbon, we folded it right to left, you know, and then we just cut it at a 45-degree angle. Okay. So you're taking, and you don't have to do that. It just gives it more of a decorative look to it. Depending on what you're working on. You don't have to have those. Okay, so here's what this looks like right now. Okay. I'm going to undo our chenille. And I'm going to just, this is a pastry, pastry spatula. Works really good. Especially when you got like really thick ribbon and you're really trying to work the bow. Build that bow up, and really got to get that ribbon down in there. That it works great. So I'm going to lift this up. All right. Holding it like so. And we're just going to, what we're going to do is we're just going to twist it like we did with the tool bow. You know, you don't have to do a whole lot, just to secure it. Okay. Where are my tails? So here's one tail right here. Here's another tail right there. Okay. Now what we're going to do is we're going to open, here, let me just get this. This part, you really want to get that snug down in there. So yeah, you do need to tie it, you know, twist it a couple times just to make sure that it's secure, and we like that tight, that loop to be tight. Okay, so here's one tail, and I want to find the other tail, which is right here. Okay. Now what we're going to do is we're just going to fan these out. And so we're going to open the loops. You just, like this. You're going to, you know, take 2 fingers. I have small fingers, so sometimes I need to take 3. And you're just going to open them up, you know, like this. And we can just go like this. So right now all we're doing is just opening up. We're not messing with how things necessarily are looking right now. We're just opening up loops. And you can do it back to front or front to back, however which way you wish. We're just opening up these loops. Okay. Right. Oh, my hands are like really cramped tonight. The weather's really bearing down. All right, so I'm working with this like this. Okay, now we got a bow taking shape. All right, now, you know, I can see the chenille right here because it's like the middle of the bow. You know, I can take these and just, you know, I can go like this, right? Now that covers the middle. We're just going to take this and we're just going to, you know, form a ribbon. And you're just going to open these up and you're going to, you know, you're just going to shape it the way you want it. Okay, because this is secured. This ain't going anywhere, right? Okay. So right now, this is a complete bow. I really like it. You know, it's simple. You know, I really like it the way it is, right? If I don't want these, you know, and say I want more loops, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take this and I'm going to tuck this, hang on, wait, let me go this way. We're going to take this and we're going to tuck it in. We're going to put it towards the middle. Okay. Like that. And the same thing with the other side. I got this Chanel rather loose on here. So, okay, I'm going to take this. Oh, doggone it. All right. Here we go. Now I'm going to take, I've got, my Chanel's a bit loose. That's why when I tug, it's coming out. You're just going to want to make sure you tug that. Make sure the Chanel is just twisted tightly in the back. Right, but you want to keep it loose enough for, you want to keep it loose enough so that if you want to attach this to something else, you can do that. Okay, so this basically, this is going to be a bow now with 8 loops because we took the tails and we tucked them under. If you know that you don't want tails in the beginning of the Bowdabra, you can take the tails and you can tuck them. You can tuck them into the stacks of the others. We'll go over that of the others, and you come just a little bit over on one side and a little bit over on the other side, and when you bring it up and fasten your Chanel down, you also won't have any tails. So we'll go over that next. But this is like just if you're, trying new ribbon, you don't know if you want tails or not. You don't know if you want to put dovetails on them or anything like that. Which way is this? Oh, this is just a basic, you're staging your bow, I guess is what you would call it, technique. Okay. And the tails you don't have to fold up and under, up and over and under. You can also curl them this way too. But they'll stay because it's wired ribbon. It holds form and shape really well. Okay, and that's just the basics on this. That's it. It's that simple. I'm gonna grab some more ribbon, and I'm gonna show what we're doing in this and what we're actually doing. Let me see if I've got some more. I think this. Yeah. Okay. Let's get this one. So we're gonna keep this east and west, north and south. Okay. Yeah, this is extremely pretty. It's very eloquent. A little bit really does a lot with these. These are very fun. Wire ribbon, I love working with wire ribbon. Okay, let me grab my scissors, and I'm going to show you what the Bowdabra is actually doing so you guys can understand how I'm guiding the ribbon through it, and all the Bowdabra is doing is holding it, basically. Oh, we gotta have this. Come on. I'm trying to get the plastic without cutting the ribbon on this. Okay. Let's see here. Okay. All right. So what I'm doing is we're basically this is what we're doing with it. Okay. So this is what's going on inside the Bowdabra. I'm just guiding this back and forth. I'm not twisting, I'm not turning, I'm not anything. See how I'm just doing this back and forth? back, and forth. That's it. That's what's going on inside this Bowdabra. Back and forth, back and forth. I'm just layering the ribbon in the Bowdabra. We're going to do this. We'll do this again here. So I'm going to set this in. I already know I don't want any tails. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to bring this and create, pinch it just a little bit on the underside. Oh, I forgot my Chanel. We got to put a Chanel in there. Doggone it. Let me grab another Chanel, you guys. And we can, I think one thing about this is you can never have enough space. I can never have enough space in here to work with things. All right. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to take this out. I'm going to go north and south, put my Chanel in, and tuck my undersides on my Bowdabra. I got my Bowdabra on eBay. I actually got this one and the mini one, I think, for $20. Otherwise, this alone is like $50. I'd still say it's worth the investment on it because of everything that it does. It makes things smooth and easy, and you're not holding all this with your hands. Okay, so I don't want any tails, so I'm just gonna come in. It's now, I've got this facing, east and west. I'm just gonna bring it up. This is a tail. Now we're gonna make it a loop, and it's just a little bit over here with the Chanel, on the Chanel stem, just enough because I know it's going to get secured in here. So we're just going to make, a simple one, and we're just going to go back and forth. Yeah, there's a lot of memory in this ribbon. Okay, let's see. All right, we're just going to basically, we're just going to layer it over. Let me get this in. Down. We're just going to bring it back. Can we see? No, just nothing. Just going to push it down. Okay. Yep, keeping the ribbon on the right side face up. If you have single-sided, if you're double-sided, you just, you don't have to worry about that. But one thing, we just want to keep it up and down. We're just going back and forth. We're not doing any crazy twists. We're just taking it and we're just doing what I showed before on here, right? And we're going like this. Okay. Say that's all the loops we want, right? But I still have a tail here. You're going to do the same thing that you did with the other one. We're just going to come over here like this. Okay. And we're going to, you can make it just a little bit longer so that when you cut it, you're going to tuck it under. We're going to tuck it under and bring that part back. So what happens is it forms, it's making loops instead of tails when we end it. I'm not going to end this right here because I'm just showing, I'm just playing right now. I'm just doing a little tutorial. I don't know quite yet what I want to do with this ribbon, but this is looking good, you guys. So we're going to pull it out. We're going to twist it a couple times tightly. Okay. And we're just going to open these loops up like so. We're going to just keep opening them, you know, use a couple fingers and spread them open. You know, this is, the Chanel secures the bow while you work it. So you got, you know, nothing to worry about. You can just hold it and just puff and open. We're just going to open these loops up. If you see a loop, open it. Okay. Okay, so this was going to be one of our, see how this was a tail? So you can take that and you can cover the Chanel part in the middle, or we can just make a little, you can make a little loop out of that. You know, you're bending the ribbon any way you want this to be done. And I'm going to be doing more stuff on this because I got a lot of bows I got to do for Valentine's. So I'll be on here for that. If you find a loop, we're just going to grab it and we're just going to spread that loop open. And that's all I'm doing with this. That's just, you know, I like to keep it simple. And I'm just opening these loops. Just spread them with my 2 fingers. You know, and we're just kind of pushing the shape of the bow any way you want that. So, you know, if this tail is giving you a hard time and not holding that loop, you know, I take it like that, you know, and work it to the center, because see that Chanel right there? And just take that tail and cover it and, you know, work it so it's like, pinch that in there like that. And then you can bring your loops out in front. You can, now, you know, you can twist these, you can turn these, you can do anything to start forming a bow. And it's starting to take shape, right? And you can just play with it as much as you want. The big thing about this technique is just the opening of the loops. So here's another one. You know, we're just going to keep opening them up. We're going to keep opening them. You know, if they get bunchy, we can spread them apart too. Okay. And if you get a big one that's, you know, a big loop that's like this you can just twist it. Hang on. Just twist that once. Just, you know, and just kind of push it and tug it. You know, that it's very forgiving. Wire ribbon is. You know what else you can do is you can turn it upside down. You can turn it sideways, you can do upside down. You can, you know, if you're not liking how it's forming, turn it a bit. You know, that looks really nice. Right? I like it anyways. And you can just start to work it from that angle. And over here in this one, you know, bring this, that was the tail. Yeah, kind of forms a little knot in the middle. Like that. That was that tail in the beginning that we had. Yeah, just kind of form it and just covers that middle part of the Chanel stem and makes a neat little knot. Okay, we're just gonna keep pushing and tugging. And I like that. You know, you don't need to work these a whole lot. The best thing we can do is just keep it as simple as we can. You know, but turn it different ways. You know, I like that. That looks nice. You know, you can put it like this. You know, you just gotta, like, you know, the best thing you can do is just simply, you know, turn it and see, you know, how it's forming shape and, you know, work within that. And once you're happy with it, like I'm happy with this, you know, there's many different ways I can attach this and have a good, you got what, 10 different looks of this bow just by doing this, right? So that's another good option. But that's it. That's all there is to it. We want to keep it simple. We're just going over and under, or back and forth with the ribbon, keeping the face up or the right side up, back and forth, back and forth. That's the technique. That's the movement of the ribbon as we're riding it through the Bowdabra. All right. So that's going to be it for tonight. With this, you can do 4 loops, you can do 6 loops, you can do 8 loops. You can switch out ribbon. I just want to do just a real simple basic tutorial, just the basics on this and how to form a bow. And for me, and most of the time, it's enough. That's all I need. I don't need to do a whole lot of other things. I'm happy with this technique. And so that's going to be it. It's going to be it for tonight. My voice is starting to get sore and my hands are just feeling really cramped and they're not feeling well because of the weather. So I'm going to go ahead and end this video. And thank you for coming along with me on this journey. This was a 3 loop. This was a 6 loop. So you can do, a lot with just 3 loops on each side. This is 6 loops on each side. We got fuller, loops. But basically, this is more of a chiffon. This is more of a thicker, right, silhouette, thicker kind of a look to what we have with these. All right, so I am going to sign off for now. I don't make these loops too big. What I mean by that is I don't take a whole, big, I try and keep them relatively medium to small or small to medium size because I like them holding that loop shape. I don't like it if they get too big, they start getting floppy and flopping around kind of a thing. So if you have any questions, please don't be afraid to put in the comments, and I'd be happy to get back with you. All right, this is Shannon with Cinderella's Mice signing off, and you guys have a wonderful, wonderful weekend. Thank you for coming along with me. All right. Okie dokie.